I ignored him for 17 nights. On the 18th night, I looked away for just 3 seconds, and that's when he got closer. I didn't move into this apartment because I liked it. I moved here because it was cheap. The kind of cheap that makes you stop asking questions. The building was old, quiet, and mostly empty. The landlord barely spoke, and the neighbors, well, I never really saw them. At first, it felt peaceful, until I started noticing the man. It began on a Thursday night. I had just finished dinner and was standing by the window scrolling through my phone. It was around 11:30 p.m. The street below was almost completely empty. That's when I saw him, standing under a dim, flickering streetlight. At first glance, nothing seemed strange. Just a man, standing, alone. But something about the way he stood felt wrong. Too still. Too perfect. Like he wasn't relaxing or waiting. Like he was placed there. I stared at him for a few seconds. Then I shrugged it off. Probably waiting for someone, I muttered, and went to bed. The next night, he was there again. Same spot, same position, same direction. Now I started paying attention. I stood at my window longer this time. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. He didn't move, not even slightly. No shifting weight, no looking around, no phone, nothing. That's when it started to bother me. Over the next few nights, it became a routine. Every night, around the same time, he would be there. And every night, he would be exactly the same. I tried to make sense of it. Maybe he worked night shifts. Maybe he had some mental condition. Maybe. But none of it explained one thing. He never left. One night, I stayed up late on purpose. I wanted to see when he would go. 2 a.m. Still there. 3 a.m. Still there. 4 a.m. Still there. At some point, I must have fallen asleep, because when I woke, he was gone. That should have been the end of it, but it wasn't, because the next night, he was back, exactly the same. That's when I made a decision. I was going to record him. I grabbed my phone and started filming from the window, zoomed in, focused on his face, or at least where his face should have been, because under that flickering light, I couldn't clearly see it, like something was avoiding his features, like something was missing. I recorded for about 20 minutes, then I stopped, satisfied. But when I checked the video, my blood ran cold. The street was empty. No man, no shadow, nothing. Just an empty streetlight flickering. I replayed it again and again and again. Nothing. But I knew what I saw. I wasn't imagining it. I couldn't be. That night, I didn't sleep. The next evening, I told myself I wouldn't look, I wouldn't check, I wouldn't go near the window. But around 11:30 p.m., I couldn't resist. Slowly, carefully, I walked toward the window, and I looked. He was there. Same spot, same position. But this time, something was different. He was closer. Not by much, maybe a few steps, but enough for me to notice, enough for me to feel it, that cold, sinking feeling in my chest, because I hadn't seen him move, not once, not ever, and yet he was closer. I stared at him, trying to understand, trying to make sense of it, and then, without thinking, I blinked. Just a normal blink.
a fraction of a second, but when my eyes opened, he was even closer.
I thought he only moved when I blinked. I was wrong. He moves every time you stop seeing him. I didn't blink again. I couldn't. My eyes burned, watered, begged me to close them, but I refused. Because the moment I did, he got closer. He was no longer under the streetlight. He was halfway across the street now, still standing, still facing me, still, completely still. My breathing became shallow. I didn't understand what was happening, but I understood one thing very clearly. I could not look away. Seconds passed, or maybe minutes. I wasn't sure. Time didn't feel normal anymore. Everything felt stretched, heavy, wrong. My vision started to blur. Tears rolled down my face from the strain of keeping my eyes open. I tried to focus, tried to keep him in sight, and then a car passed by. Just for a second, its headlights flooded the street, blinding me. I flinched. Just 1 second. That's all it took. When the light faded, he was right below my window. I stumbled back so hard I almost fell. My heart felt like it was about to explode. That wasn't possible. He couldn't have moved that fast. He couldn't have crossed the entire street in a second. But he did. And now, he was looking up, directly at me. For the first time, I could see his face clearly, or at least something that looked like a face. His skin was pale, too pale, like it had never seen sunlight. His eyes, they weren't normal. They were open too wide, unnaturally wide, like they had been stretched. And his mouth, it was slightly open, just enough to show he was smiling. But not like before, not subtle, not human. This smile was wider, deeper, like it didn't belong on a human face. I backed away from the window, slowly, carefully, like any sudden movement might make things worse. But the moment I stepped back, I heard something. A soft sound, right below me. A slow, deliberate footstep. I froze. Another step. And another. He was moving. Not instantly, not like before. Now, he was walking, slowly, towards the entrance of my building. No, I whispered. My mind raced. This didn't make sense. None of this made sense. But instinct took over. I rushed to the door, locked it, checked it twice, then 3 times. I grabbed a chair and pushed it against the handle. My hands were shaking uncontrollably. Then, silence. No footsteps. No sound. Nothing. For a moment, I thought maybe I was safe. Maybe he left. Maybe he wasn't real.
Maybe. Knock. The sound was soft, almost polite. I froze. Knock. Knock. Slow. Even. Deliberate. My throat went dry. There was no way. No way he got up here that fast. No way. "Hello," a voice said. My blood ran cold. The voice, it sounded normal. Too normal. "Hey, I think you dropped something outside." I didn't respond. I couldn't. Knock. 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 A little louder this time. "I saw you at the window. Thought I'd return it." My heart pounded harder. That wasn't possible. I didn't drop anything. I hadn't even gone outside. And then, the voice changed, slightly. It was still calm, still soft, but something underneath it felt wrong. Like it was trying too hard to sound human. "You're still looking at me, aren't you?" I felt my chest tighten because I realized something. I had stepped away from the window. I wasn't looking at him anymore. And if what I saw before was true, then that meant he could move freely now. My eyes slowly shifted towards the door. The handle was turning, very slowly, like someone on the other side was testing it.
The moment I stopped looking at him, he stopped pretending to be outside. The handle kept turning, slow, careful, like whoever was on the other side knew exactly how much pressure to use. I didn't breathe. I didn't move. I just stared at the door. Click. The handle stopped. Silence. A few seconds passed. Then, knock. This time, louder, more certain. "I know you're inside." My stomach twisted. The voice wasn't trying to sound friendly anymore. It wasn't pretending. "I saw you watching me." I slowly stepped back. Every instinct in my body was screaming at me to run. But where? There was nowhere to go. "I've been standing there for you," it continued. Calm, almost patient. "For so long." What did that mean? Days? Weeks? Or something worse? "I waited until you noticed," the voice said. "And then, you weren't supposed to look away." The words hit me like a punch to the chest, because I understood now. He didn't move when I blinked. He moved when I wasn't looking. And now, I wasn't looking at him at all. A cold wave of realization washed over me. He could be anywhere. Right now. In the hallway. Behind the door. Or inside. My eyes darted around the apartment. Every corner,
every shadow, every dark space. It felt different. The air felt heavier, thicker, like something had changed. Then I heard it, a soft sound from behind me, a slow, dragging footstep. My body locked. No, 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 no. I turned, slowly, carefully, and there, in the corner of my living room, he was standing. Exactly the same. Same posture, same stillness, same smile. But now, he was inside. My chest tightened so hard it hurt. That wasn't possible. The door was still locked. The chair was still there. Nothing had opened. And yet, he was there, watching me, closer than ever before. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. I couldn't even think. We just stood there, looking at each other. Seconds passed, or maybe minutes. And then, he tilted his head, just slightly, like he was studying me, trying to understand something. And then, he took a step forward, slow, deliberate. That was the first time I saw him walk, not teleport, not appear. Walk. And somehow, that was worse, because it meant he didn't need the rules anymore. He was learning, adapting. I stumbled backward, hitting the wall behind me. "Stay back," I whispered. My voice barely worked. He didn't listen. Another step. Now he was just a few feet away. I could see everything. His skin, it wasn't normal. It looked stretched, like it didn't belong to him, like it was something he was wearing. And underneath, something else was trying to come through. Something darker, something not human. "You're still looking," he said, almost disappointed. And then he stopped, right in front of me, inches away. We stared at each other. I didn't dare blink, didn't dare move, because I knew the moment I looked away, something worse would happen. And then he leaned forward, closer, closer than anything should ever be, and whispered, "Then I'll make you."
I thought if I kept my eyes open, I could survive. I didn't realize he didn't need me to blink. He just needed me to break. He was inches away from my face, I could feel his presence. Not breath, not warmth, just something cold, unnatural. "Then I'll make you." Those words echoed in my head over and over again. I didn't move. I didn't blink. I didn't even breathe properly, because I knew the moment I lost focus, the moment I looked away, it would be over. He stayed still, right in front of me, watching, waiting. Minutes passed, maybe longer. My eyes burned, my vision blurred, tears streamed down my face, but I held on. I kept looking at him. And then something changed. His smile started to fade, not disappear, but stretch, like it was being pulled. His face, it began to shift, slowly, unnaturally. His eyes sank deeper, his skin tightened, his jaw moved slightly out of place, and then I realized something horrifying. He wasn't changing randomly. He was changing to look like me. My breath caught in my throat. "No," I whispered. But it was true. His face was becoming my face. Same eyes, same nose, same expression, just wrong, distorted, like a broken version of me. "You see it now," he said, still without moving his mouth. "I don't choose how I look." A pause. "You do." My mind couldn't process it. "What?" I whispered. "You looked at me," he continued, "and now I'm you." My chest tightened. That didn't make sense. It couldn't. But deep down, something told me it did. Because every time I had looked at him, I tried to understand him, tried to imagine his face, tried to fill in what I couldn't see. And somehow, I had created him. I had created him. And now, he was stepping closer, becoming realer, becoming realer. "You're getting tired," he said softly. I was. My eyes felt like they were going to shut on their own. My body was shaking. My vision was fading in and out. "You can't keep looking forever." Another step. Now he was so close, I could see every detail, every flaw, every unnatural movement beneath the skin. "You will look away." His voice was calm, certain. "And when you do," he tilted his head slightly, "I will stay." My heart dropped. Stay? What did that mean? "What happens to me?" I asked. For the first time, he smiled again, but this time it was my smile, twisted, broken. "You leave." Silence. My mind went completely blank. "Leave?" "No," I whispered. "No, no, no." But I understood. He wasn't just copying me. He was replacing me, taking my place, living my life. And I would be the one standing outside, in the dark, waiting for someone else to notice. Tears blurred my vision. I couldn't hold it anymore. My eyes, they were closing, slowly, uncontrollably. "No,
please," I whispered, but it was too late. My vision went black, just for a second, just one blink, and when I opened my eyes, I was outside, standing under the streetlight.
I thought I would disappear, but the worst part is, I'm still here. I just can't move anymore. The first thing I noticed was the cold. Not normal cold, not night air. This was different. It didn't touch my skin. It felt like it was inside me. I tried to move. Nothing happened. My body didn't respond. I tried again, harder. Still nothing. That's when the panic hit. I looked down and saw my feet standing on the pavement, perfectly still, exactly the same position he used to stand in. My heart started racing. No, this isn't real. But even my voice, it didn't sound right. It felt distant, echoing, like it wasn't fully mine anymore. I thought I would disappear, but the worst part is, I'm still here. I just can't move anymore. The first thing I noticed was the cold. Not normal cold, not night air. This was different. It didn't touch my skin. It felt like it was inside me. I tried to move. Nothing happened. My body didn't respond. I tried again, harder. Still nothing. That's when the panic hit. I looked down and saw my feet standing on the pavement, perfectly still, exactly the same position he used to stand in. My heart started racing. No, this isn't real. But even my voice, it didn't sound right. It felt distant, echoing, like it wasn't fully mine anymore. Slowly, with everything I had, I forced my eyes upward, and that's when I saw it. My apartment, 5th floor, my window, the curtain, slightly open, and inside, someone was standing there, watching me. My breath stopped because I knew who it was. He was inside now, and I was outside, exactly where he used to be. I tried to scream. Nothing came out. I tried to move again. Nothing. I was trapped, not just outside, but inside this position, this stillness. And then I felt it. Something forcing me, holding me, keeping me exactly where I was, like invisible hands pressing me into place. You understand now. The voice, it wasn't around me. It was inside my head. You looked away. I wanted to cry, to beg, to do anything, but I couldn't. You made me real. A pause. And now, you take my place. I stared at my window, at him, at me. He stood there, calm, relaxed, free. Something I could no longer be. And then, he smiled. That same unnatural smile, the one I saw that night. But now, it looked perfect,
like he had finally learned how to do it right. He raised his hand, and slowly, he waved, a casual wave, like everything was normal, like nothing had happened. And then, he closed the curtain, leaving me alone, in the dark, under the streetlight, standing, waiting. I don't know how long it's been. Days? Weeks? Month? Time doesn't feel real anymore. Nothing does. People pass by sometimes. They don't notice me. Or maybe they choose not to. But sometimes someone looks, just for a moment, curious, confused, uncomfortable, and I feel it, that small connection, that tiny moment of awareness, and I try, with everything I have, to move, to warn them, to scream, but I can't. I can only stand here, perfectly still, just like he did, waiting for someone to notice me long enough to understand, and then to look away. So if you ever see someone standing in the same spot every single night, don't stare too long, and whatever you do, don't look away.